Hi there, you're listening to Gift Biz Unwrapped, episode number 109.
I used to teach scrapbooking, you guys, so I'm like, Instagram stories has all the things I love.
Hi, this is John Lee Dumas of Entrepreneur on Fire, and you're listening to Gift Biz Unwrapped, and now it's time to light it up.
Welcome to Gift Biz Unwrapped, your source for industry-specific insights and advice to develop and grow your business. And now, here's your host, Sue Monheit.
Before we get into the show, I have a question for you. Do you know that you should be out networking, but you just can't get yourself to do it because it's scary? Are you afraid that you might walk into the room and not know anybody? Or that you're going to freeze when you get up to do that infamous elevator speech where you talk about yourself and your business? Well, I'm here to tell you that it doesn't need to be scary if you know what to do. To help you with this, I would like to offer you a coffee chat. For the price of buying me a cup of coffee, we can sit down through an online video and I'll tell you everything that I know about networking and how I have personally built 2 multi-six-figure businesses primarily through networking. You'll walk away with a solid understanding about how networking can truly grow your business. And you're going to have newfound confidence because I'm going to give you 10 fill-in-the-blank templates that you can use for your introduction message. To learn more about this opportunity, just go over to bit.ly/network ninja. That's bit.ly/network ninja. And now, let's move on to the show. Hi there, this is Sue, and welcome to the Gift Biz Unwrapped podcast. This is the show for gifters, bakers, crafters, and makers. Whether you own a brick and mortar shop, sell online, or are just getting started, you'll discover new insight to gain traction and to grow your business. And today, I would like to present to you once again, Sue B. Zimmerman. Sue B. is known worldwide as the Instagram expert. She is an insightful social media educator, energetic speaker, and in-demand business coach. Her blog is ranked as one of the top 10 social media blogs in 2017 by Social Media Examiner. She's also one of the most popular CreativeLive instructors and has been named by Huffington Post as one of the top 50 must-follow women entrepreneurs in 2017. How lucky are we to have her with us today? Sue B., welcome to the show.
Hey, it's great to be back, Sue. I'm happy to be here.
I know, I was looking back to see when I had you on for the first time, and it was so long ago. You were episode 32.
And what are we on now?
Let me think. I believe you're going to be episode 109.
Wow. Well, congratulations to you for all of that.
Oh, thank you.
Because I know this podcast life is not easy.
That takes a lot of time, but it's worth it and it's super rewarding.
Yes.
I want to talk totally about stories today because we spoke so long ago about Instagram. So Gift Biz listeners, anything you don't know, or if you are new and even starting to just think about Instagram as a platform, go back to that specific episode number 32. I'll link it up in the show notes. But so much has changed, or I don't know if I should say so much changed, but has been included and added to Instagram. One of the biggest things is stories. And I know you are such a proponent right now of stories, Subi. Could you share what stories are all about? Let's just start there and ground everybody.
Sure. Instagram introduced stories back in August 2016. And as soon as they did, I was all over it because I used to be kind of obsessed with Snapchat and loved documenting a lot of my real raw content behind the scenes through Snapchat in a very creative way. And so Instagram stories allowed me to basically do the same. And with that came my audience that I had already established on Instagram. Basically, Instagram stories are like a slideshow clip where you can integrate photos that last 4 seconds. You cannot change the amount of time that someone views a photo like you can on Snapchat. Also, you can have a clip that is a video with up to 15 seconds. So that's the max of each video clip. The idea is that you string together a story, a beginning, a middle, and an end that gives value in some way that your followers would be interested in coming back for more, because Sue, they disappear in 24 hours.
I'm just kind of thinking of people who are already on Instagram with their accounts, and you are a big proponent of making sure that the account is super clear. If you're there for business, it's business. If you're there for personal, it's personal. How do you integrate that then in?
Yeah, so I have two accounts on Instagram. I want the listeners to know I do have a personal account at Sue B. Zimmerman. And on that account, when I'm doing stories, it's really the replacement of what I did with Snapchat, but with a lot more intention. And when I say intention, you see the same core values that I share in my feed, in my stories. And so there's not a disconnect. It's basically the life of a successful business owner and all the things that are valuable to me and that I want to share in a fun, entertaining, and somewhat exclusive way. And when I say exclusive, I mean, I believe that Instagram stories should be where you're sharing exclusive content that you are not sharing anywhere else. So this whole real and raw and authentic aspect that stories can add to your awareness as a business or a brand is exciting for Instagram. And let's just ground the listeners one more way, Sue. So we have our Instagram feed, which I like to call is like a digital magazine. So basically, if you have set your account up for success and you have a dynamic bio that someone can quickly read in 3 to 6 seconds and know exactly who you are and what you do for your business, and the content that you show in your feed matches up to that, you're in good shape. And then as another layer, you have your Instagram stories that can absolutely get someone's attention. Now, I know people that just like to watch Instagram stories now and don't necessarily go into the feed. So my goal is always to drive traffic back to the Instagram feed where that content lives on forever. So I just explained my personal strategy. On my business account, the Instagram Expert, I share Instagram tips in a way that is basically bite-sized, actionable tips that someone can watch. And yes, I'm funny in a very entertaining way over there, but someone can watch and say, oh my gosh, that was brilliant. I get it. I'm doing that. So cool. Awesome. And the way I know this is because I get replies from all of my stories that I share there. And I have been getting, Sue, close to 2,000 views per clip on my Instagram business page. I never got that kind of reach on Snapchat. I got close to 500 views. And on my personal Instagram stories, I get between 500 and 700 views per clip. So let's talk about this for one quick second, Sue. So obviously, people on Instagram are on there with intention, with focused intention, where they basically want to consume content that they are interested in. And yes, my life is interesting. It's fun. But you know what? Time is money. And people don't always have the time to be watching what Sue B. Zimmerman's doing. But on my business account, learning how I teach those tips, I'm getting a lot of eyeballs. And with those eyeballs comes more engagement on my Instagram feed, which ultimately takes people to the link in my bio, which is typically an opt-in to grow my email list. Sometimes our blog posts, as you saw yesterday, Sue, and then frequently a webinar if we're partnering with someone or doing our own. I know that was a long-winded answer, but I thought it would be a good way to break it down.
Yeah, no, that's really good. And I think the thing I want to underline and just make sure to point out to our listeners is how intentional you are with the two different sites. Because I, for one, didn't understand how to do that really well at first. Your personal still has somewhat of a business presence to it because you are a business person. That's who you're facing the world with. But it's more personal behind the scenes. Here's what your life is like. And you can splatter in personal too. And it's in alignment with your personal Instagram account. Then when you go over onto the business side, your account is all tips. And so the stories align to it in a light, playful, fun way. But they're coming out with a business action or a learning or something that is more business oriented than just learning more about you, Sue B, the personality.
Exactly. And the key thing that you said, Sue, is fun. And I always say entertaining. If you're boring in your stories, nobody is going to click through and watch. So there's ways that we can set people up for success. You want me to go through some of those now?
Absolutely.
Okay. If you're going to embrace Instagram stories, and I hope that you do, and Sue, we do have a blog post that you can link in your show notes that will help people a lot. We also have a Instagram stories class that some of your listeners might be interested in, and it's under $20. I can send you that link later. But basically, these are the tips I want to go over here. You want to understand how to look at your camera on your phone as if you're talking to one person. So that's the first thing. Look at the camera. Look at the camera as if you're looking at someone in the eye. Also, having different angles when you're doing your clips, specifically your video clips. So high to low, bird's eye view, low to high, walking in and out of the frame, using the very creative writing tools that we can go over, understanding the stickers and how they can add value to your account, which we can go over, and using some of the filters. So one of my strategies, Sue, is whenever I want someone to listen to what I'm saying, because when you first go into Instagram stories, you have to turn up the volume on your phone to listen to the video. So you want to key people to do that. So I always say, listen up. I do it in one of my 3 colors that I use in the writing tools in the purple. And I have the filter be black and white. So people know whenever they see a black and white video of me talking, they need to turn up the volume and listen. So I'm conditioning my followers to listen up on the black and white. And I consistently do this when I do my stories. The key word here is to be consistent with your story and the way that you're storyboarding it and sharing it, down to what color tools that you're using, writing tools, and even the highlighter if you choose to use that.
So would you also say consistency in terms of when you show up, how many clips a story equals everything?
No, not to that degree. So my tip is basically a tip that I teach in however long it takes me to teach it. And sometimes I will say you need to listen to the end of the day to get the whole tip. And then that way people come back for more of my story.
Oh, but that's a good tip in terms of advising people that it's not going to be over for until the whole day. So you got to keep coming back.
Yeah, so I do that a lot. And I've done a lot of Instagram stories takeovers, which we definitely should talk about at the end here. My clips, I say if you're starting out, to keep it under a minute, because people don't have time to tap through. And if people aren't tapping through your whole story, it's important to look and see where they're falling off. So you can look at your analytics on every clip by simply just tapping on the number of eyeballs on your post. That will take you to the back end of your clips, or tapping on the avatar on the top left when you're looking at your stories. Looking at your eyeballs on your clips and your stories is important, but most importantly, Sue, it's looking at who has watched to the end, who is watching and consuming your content to the very end. And often what I did at the beginning is I would send an Instagram direct message back, usually a video message because I'm comfortable on video. And I would say, thank you so much for watching my whole story. What was it that you learned the most? What tip did you like the best? Tell me why you like watching my stories. And so I got feedback from the people that watched my whole stories. Now, if you don't have time to do it, you absolutely should at least put those account names in a Google Doc and know that these are people that you should be engaging with on Instagram. These are people consuming your content. They might not be actively engaging on your posts, but now they're actively engaging on your stories. So they know you because they watched you. They saw your tip. Hopefully you integrated some of your own voice and video into it, front facing, and you now have a touch point. It's kind of like they now give you permission to reach out and touch them again.
Totally agree. And even if you can only do a couple, like that personal contact that you do is so great and so impressive that let's say you make a goal for yourself that you can only direct message back 2 people a day. Well, if you have people watching you regularly over the week, over the month, it gets to be more and more. It's better than nothing.
Exactly. So you can watch who viewed your story to the end, and then also to the point of engagement, and then growing your Instagram account and ultimately your business, paying attention to who has replied in your story, in your clip. That Instagram direct message blows up for me daily as well. So I get a lot of people saying, oh my God, I love Mr. Cody. He's so cute. So there's that. And then I get, oh my God, that was the best tip I ever heard. You're brilliant. Thank you so much. So I will go back and say, are you going to apply this this, tag me when you do. Again, keeping that relationship building.
Right. Let me stop you here before we move on. I want to make sure we get back to making value in your stories. And Gift Biz listeners, all you need to do is watch what she's doing, because I've told you this before, Sue. You are the most creative person in terms of the colors and the way you're doing it and the way you're swiping and your head coming in from the camera. Everything that she's saying here, she does. But I have a really important question for you that jumps in a little bit before what we've even been talking about. You have 7,000 million followers. What are you at now? 50,000?
50,000 on my business and 48 plus on my personal.
Okay, so like I said, quadrillions of people. So it kind of would seem natural then that when you start doing stories, there are going to be people who will follow you because they're following you anywhere you are. So all you have to do is say, go look at my stories, and people are going to be there. How does someone who isn't as well known yet get people to come over to their stories? Because what you've been talking about is once they're already there, but how do we get them there for the first time?
I would announce that you're doing a story on social channels that you like to be on. Often on Twitter, you'll see me, I have a sign, Sue, it says #SueBStories. And so often on Twitter, if I shared a really good tip, I will say, check out my Instagram story tip today, and I'll copy and paste the link to my Instagram account. So people can click in the link on Twitter and go right over to the Instagram expert and watch that story. So I'll share it on Twitter. I might even share it in one of my Facebook groups. Like last night when I went live on Instagram, I shared that I was going live, and I got over 500 people on my live broadcast, which is a whole nother podcast interview, but announcing it on your social channels. And what I did for you today, I don't know if you watched my story on experts, I'm all about collaborating and introducing people to my followers who are in my life in some creative way. So for you today, I basically did that angle. I had the camera on Cody. Everyone loves seeing Cody. Like, I can't even tell you how many times a day people tell me to have an account for him. So Cody's my prop. I said, hey, Mr. Cody, I'm having lunch and soon I'm going to be on a podcast with Sue Monheit. Do you know her? She has this amazing podcast. So I showed them your Instagram accounts on my computer and I tagged you. When you collaborate with other businesses and you give shout outs in stories, and a shout out in a story is just an @ mention with their Instagram username, they get a notification that they were mentioned in a story. And so now my followers are going to be curious, like, wait, Sue's doing an interview and I'm in the gift industry. Like, I'm a creator. I need to know who this Sue Monheit is. And so hopefully Sue's going to get more followers and maybe even someone new to interview on your podcast. Because, at the end of the day, Sue, and you know this about me, I know that the more you shine the light on other people, the more the light shines back on you. And I'm all about helping other people have more exposure and more success in their business. I mean, that's what I wake up and do every day.
100%.
Yeah. So I walk the talk whenever I can. And that was effortless for me. That took me 15 seconds to do.
So are you going throughout your whole day then and figuring out what activities am I doing and how can I then build them into the stories?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I know I'm not normal, and I know this comes really easily to me. So I am that visual brain that sees opportunities just by looking at life, aesthetically, colors, lighting, in a creative way. And I do it kind of in the moment of the day. So I'll wake up often in the shower. I'll think, okay, do I have an idea for an Instagram stories? But even before that, Sue, I spend my morning, usually a good 45 minutes on Instagram in the morning, answering questions, engaging. And then I will see something like, oh my God, that's brilliant. I need to talk about it. Or that's a great idea for a story. So I will often get my creative juices flowing from other people's energy. And that's what I really want your listeners to know. It's not necessarily what you're coming up with, but someone else might have showed you something in a story. It just sparks an idea for you. And that often happens to me. In addition, yes, I look at my content calendar. For example, we have a launch coming up for Ready, Set, Gram. And this is a Instagram course for beginners who have under 1,000 followers, who are new to Instagram, who aren't necessarily making money on Instagram. So I want to tease that launch. And so I have been showing behind the scenes of me updating the videos that are in the course and talking about the videos and occasionally showing exclusive content that's in the videos that gives you a sneak peek. And you're like, wait, she has a course? I didn't know she had a course. What's the course name? Oh, that's Simone module. I want that module. Where can I buy it?
But it's done in a very indirect way. So it's very subtle and very playful.
Yeah. And I've sold 2 courses to just showing the behind the scenes.
Nice.
So I want people to know that I am a passionate entrepreneur running a small business like many of your listeners. I do have a team. I have 2 full-time employees and 4 contractors and, a team in the Philippines, but I call it a small business because at the end of the day, that's what we are. But at the same time, I know because I have so much influence and I have experiences, and most importantly, I have stories, as do all of you, that you can share in a way that will teach a lesson. So let me give some examples to your audience because I know that you attract a lot of creators. So for example, remind me of the woman up the street with the yarn shop.
Olivia.
Yeah, Olivia. So she is a shop owner that teaches people not only how to knit, and she does workshops and she sells gorgeous yarn. Just simply doing a fun boomerang of her threading a needle is interesting on Instagram stories, which by the way, boomerangs are like my favorite clips. They're so fun. But she could literally show us what life looks like the second she gets a shipment in the store and how she merchandises it, or maybe what she makes and how that yarn turns into a product, or maybe one of the behind the scenes of her workshop and all the things that she has ready for people that do the workshop. Maybe she puts out bottled water. She buys certain candy that she can tag from a store up the street. Like if you have a physical location, tagging other businesses in and around your area is a great way to grow your sphere of influence too. And that's collaborative and that's building community as well. So Olivia now has her shipment. I picture 6 people in a workshop. Olivia is so generous and nice. I'm sure she bought water or maybe coffee, and she had candy up the street. She got candy, and she maybe even gave everybody a notebook to write notes. So tagging those businesses and showing that behind the scenes and geo-tagging it. So here's the magic, Sue. On Instagram stories, in the sticker icon, and if no one's seeing the sticker next to the writing tool, you need to update your Instagram app. But the stickers is where you can stamp the time of day, where you're located, and the weather. And you might say, like, who the hell cares about the weather or the time of day? Well, it makes for an interesting story if you're up at 5:30 in the morning, hustling hard, doing your workout, like Chase Jarvis, who I love. He's like my favorite Instagram stories account to follow. He takes you with him throughout the day. You see what time he wakes up and you see when he's done, like hustling hard. I like that.
I want to say something here before we get off of Olivia and Chase, because some of that stuff might look just routine. And I think first off, it has to be a mindset that you're always looking for those opportunities of what you can pull into a story. And I would guess over time, these ideas and these things come easier. However, and this was one of my questions for you, is, you see people who are showing you a picture of what they had for lunch, or they might be getting close to something good. And I'll call myself guilty. I am no pro at this yet, but it might be a picture of a book that they're reading that could be a really good story, but it's all just blah.
Yeah, that's like Snapchat. Like, I don't want to see any of that. It's boring. If you show a book, if you have a book, talk about why you love it or what you learned. Don't just show the book. Like, I don't care that you're reading a book, and I don't care that you're having a taco.
And this could be where the boomerang comes in, or like you've just been talking stickers, and I want to get back onto all those creative things that you can do, because I think the content's one thing, it's how you visibly then show it is a whole nother thing.
Yeah, so let's just stay on this for a second because there's a reason I'm going down this path here. So with the stickers, which is one of the creative elements in Instagram stories, there are stickers that often when you tap it, it turns into another sticker, sometimes 3 different stickers. Same thing, like now they have every day of the week. So I love this. So now I'm time stamping my story. You know when a Tuesday story ends and when a Wednesday story begins. So every day I'm day stamping. Sometimes I'm time stamping, but day stamping for sure. Because I want people to know, oh, that was yesterday or that's today, especially when you're sharing content that might be time sensitive, like you're going live on Instagram Live and it's today. You should let people know what day it is. But the location, Sue, is key because here I live in downtown Boston in this building called Millennium Tower, and I stamp and tag the tower, or I tag downtown Boston, and I also use that as a geotag on my Instagram post, which, by the way, listeners, you get 79% more engagement when you geotag on Instagram. So you don't want to geotag your house, obviously, but you can geotag the city, the town, the state, the country. So I put a sticker, and this restaurant across the street, merchant restaurant, like 12 steps across the street, saw it in the geotag hub, which happens when you do that on Instagram. And when they clicked into my geotag, they saw me, they discovered me, and they're like, who is this influencer that teaches Instagram marketing? We want her in our restaurant to do an Instagram stories. So they sent me an Instagram direct message and invited me for dinner and, to comp a dinner. And I'm like, can I bring my husband? They're like, sure. Drinks, dinner, dessert, $150 later, totally comped. My husband looks at me and he's like, can you do more of this kind of stuff? And that was the power of an Instagram story tag. So tagging your location, and I did it this morning when I got coffee. I didn't tag downtown Boston. I geotagged the coffee shop. So what's going to happen? They're going to get a notification and they might say, gosh, she lives really close to us. Maybe we'll give her free coffee for the week and she can do something for us. It's a way to start a partnership collaboration. So that's the sticker, Sue. Let's talk about the writing tools, because I know that your audience is creative. So I used to teach scrapbooking, you guys. So I'm like, Instagram stories has all the things I love, except the glitter. I don't have any glitter, but it has the highlighter.
Oh, just you wait. Some of those stickers will someday explode into glitter or something.
So the writing tools, you have 3 writing tools. You have the medium-sized Sharpie on the left. You have the one with the edge in the middle. And on the right, you have the highlighter. And when you tap on each of those, it turns white. And that way you know what tool you're working in. So you can also change the thickness and the thinness of the writing tool. Now, I only use 3 colors. I use purple, magenta, and blue. Why? Because they're colors in the Instagram logo. I always want to stay top of mind as someone who teaches Instagram marketing for business. And by choosing these colors, it's on point with the way my feed looks, my personality, my bright colors, and it makes it really easy to know exactly what color I'm going to be using. So less is better here. There's 27 colors, but here's what your listeners need to know, Sue. When you tap on a color, any color, the whole color spectrum pops up.
So you can have your own branded if you have a hex color or something.
Exactly. Now, I believe that Instagram will eventually let you save that hex color, but it's not there yet as a feature. That's what I'm hoping for. Okay, so now we've talked about the stickers, the writing tools. Let's talk about the highlighter. So same rules apply for me with intention with the highlighter. I only use the magenta highlighter. I don't use any other colors to highlight. Makes it really easy. So when you use a highlighter, it can add like a light effect to your clip, like as if there's lights turned on. You can get super creative with the writing tools. Let's just say that. And I know that you've been following me, Sue, so you see how creative I can get.
So creative. I want you also, I'm not sure where you're going, but I want to make sure we also cover video and hands-free video.
Yeah, let's do that. And what I suggest that you do, Sue, do you put visuals in your show notes or just links?
I put links, but I can put pictures. You tell me what you want to do and I'll try and make it work.
Well, I will download my clip of me talking about you so that people can have that link.
Okay.
So that you can share that. So video clips, like we said, are 15 seconds. So often for those of you that are like, gosh, I don't have the time to do this, any of the clips that you create in Instagram stories, you can download and save to your camera roll. And one of the features that I love in Instagram stories that does not happen on the phone is you can switch from front facing out within the story. You can't do that when you're on video on your iPhone. So I'll do a 15-second clip and often I'll flip the camera out. So I'm talking, but then I want to show you something that I'm looking at. So that is awesome. And you can do that whole clip. Sue mentioned hands-free. So when you scroll all the way to the end, another recent update, you can be hands-free. Now, my buddies over at Archon Mount, Sue, if you can link up Archon Mount and you can find the links, there's 2 items. Their handheld mount that I always talk about. I don't know the item number, but you know which one I'm talking about because you always see me with it. And their new Diva ring. It's under $15. And if you use the code SUBEE, SUEBEE, you'll get 20% off anything. And those are my 2 go-to items whenever I travel. I always have a steady place to put my phone. So if I want to go hands-free, I can just tap on that For all you bakers and makers out there, you can do something and use your hands and step away and teach something in a really creative way. When you're hands-free, you see the rainbow ring filling up and you know how much time you have left till it's 15 seconds. So you just need to keep your eye on the rainbow ring as it fills up and it lets you know when it's ended.
Perfect. I have one point of clarification because I did not understand this. Maybe all you listeners did, but I did not. When you're talking about switching the camera, you're saying you can't do it from your phone?
You can't do it in my regular phone. Like when I'm on video in my camera setting on my iPhone and I'm talking, there's no opportunity for me to flip it.
When you're just doing regular old video, nothing to do with Instagram.
Nothing to do with Instagram, right? And so that's one of the reasons I love Instagram stories videos, because I can create it and I can flip it. And so often, Sue, I use Instagram stories to create something like that, save it to my camera roll, and I just might tweet it.
Well, that's a super ninja trick. So anything more in terms of the tools and the creative things that are specifically in the Instagram Stories app? Anything else we should cover?
I just think your listeners should pay attention to holidays because that's when stickers are released. And I know a lot of your listeners are gift business related, obviously. So for Easter, what's the next holiday coming up?
We've got Mother's Day coming up.
Mother's Day. So I'm sure there's going to be Mother's Day stamps. I love my mom. Cheers to mom. You're going to see roses, some other stuff.
Well, and part of the fun is to see what other things they're going to come up with.
Oh, I know. No kidding. It's like getting a new pack of stickers when you were a kid at the store.
That's a whole story too. Look what we have now.
Exactly. I think that's good. We talked about filters. The filters in Instagram stories are not that great. I talked about the black and white. One of the things I want your listeners to know as a ninja tip is that you can create something in any other app and download it. So Animoto, Diptyque, anything from Snapchat, download it and you can upload it to your Instagram stories. So I, like everyone else, love some of the filters in Snapchat. And so you can do that. You can add a Snapchat filter in your Instagram story.
And you can only access uploads from your camera roll for 24 hours too. Is that correct?
Yes, but there are a few workarounds with that. You can text yourself the photo or the video.
Just duplicate the picture. I've done that before.
Yeah, you can do that, but you can, if it's a video, you can use AirDrop or you can text it to yourself.
Gotcha. So you can't access everything in your camera roll, but if you re-engage it into your camera roll, then you have access. Is it still, you just swipe from the top and then you can see what's in your camera roll? Is it still that way, Sue?
You have to tap on the screen and lift up, and now it's on the bottom.
Okay, gotcha. I'm getting re-energized to do stories better, I'll tell you that.
Yay.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about what takeovers are.
Okay, so I've had the pleasure of doing many. I'm going to name these brands because these are really good brands for your audience to follow on Instagram. So Later Media is one of them. Social Bakers with an S is another. Adobe, Social Media Examiner. Who else did I do recently? I've done so many. Casual Fridays, one of my favorite podcasters, Tyler Anderson, right? And Buffer. I've done Buffer. So these are all big brands. So the reason I want to mention this is because it's important to line up with other brands that can give you new exposure. So I love doing stories. They loved having me do the stories because they have someone entertaining their audience. Oh my gosh, Sue, when I did Later's Takeover, I got like 5,000 views.
Oh my gosh.
It was crazy. So what we do with everyone I listed, I had to basically either sign a contract or I had to get a password to log in as them. Social Bakers did something really smart. They didn't want to give me a password. They're in London, totally understand. We created a Dropbox folder and I sent them each of my clips in order. But not only did I send them each of my clips in order, I sent them a duplicate of the clip showing them exactly how I wanted them to use the stickers or the geo stickers so they could do it on their end. And they would be hyperlinked. So if I had sent them the clip with the geo tag or the @ mention, it wouldn't hyperlink if they uploaded it. So they needed to do it on their end. Does that make sense?
Got it. Did you give them access to you?
No, I did it for them. No one's taken over my account yet. I haven't done it for anybody yet. No one's taken over my Instagram account.
Oh, I thought it was always a swap.
No, they all wanted me. They're like, Sue, we love you. You're so funny.
Okay, so Gift Biz listeners, in case you don't know what we're talking about, a takeover is when someone other than the account owner gets on for, usually it's a day. So what Subi was doing is going over and actually posting her information on these other platforms. So it's exciting. It's a way to switch up, introduce, share other people, collaborate with others. What else?
Exactly.
Yeah, that is interesting how they're giving you access, because that makes sense totally for other brands.
Oh, yeah. They all created a special password for me. And take note, never, ever log back on with the same password. That's setting yourself up for losing your password.
Okay, so the big question, because all of this is fun, we can hear it in your voice how much you like doing it. What are you seeing in terms of a business result with this? Overall summary.
Oh my goodness. So my sphere of influence has grown to new audiences because when you do Instagram stories, you can get discovered in the explore tabs and people can watch your stories without necessarily following you. They can stumble upon you. Okay, so here's what everyone needs to know based on your engagement on Instagram. So if you're engaging in content that is just your friends and family, they're going to show you more of that kind of content. So coffee, meals you're making, vacations, yoga, all that. If you're engaging on accounts, meaning double tapping, commenting, saving posts, you on accounts where your ideal customer or client is hanging out, Instagram will show you more of that. So I often am found in the Explore tab as a story to follow if you're interested in Instagram marketing or small business or being a creator or a solopreneur or mompreneur. I get suggested. You're not going to get suggested if you don't do stories.
Okay, so we've sparked the interest of some people. Check out stories and maybe start doing them. What are a couple of first steps that they should do? Let's just make the assumption that they're already on Instagram. What tomorrow could they start doing?
So they could start doing a story and you can always delete what you're doing if you don't like it. I say go buy some Post-it notes and storyboard your story so that you write it out. Each clip is a Post-it note. And I actually did that when I did an Instagram takeover. I did a storyboard for Social Bakers because they wanted me to teach 6 tips of how to do Instagram stories. And I needed to tell them how many clips I was going to do it in. So I had to storyboard it.
Okay, so number one is storyboarding. So you have an overall message that you're sending. Then you storyboard how many sections. What would you recommend in terms of for someone starting the very first one?
Under a minute for sure. Remember that each clip is 15 seconds.
So 4 to 5.
Yeah, I mean, you can do a story in 2 clips. My daughter Lila at Fresh Fit and Fearless, she did a 2-clip story. It was brilliant. She showed us a bird's eye view of her holding an Archon mount with her feet walking. And she said YouTube day. And on the next video, the next clip, she had her headphones on with the mount in her hand and she gave a peace sign. So what did that do? She let you know she's on YouTube. So now you go and check out her YouTube channel and she's showing you that she's like creating videos. So you're curious. You want to know like what videos is she creating? There's an intrigue. You don't have to finish the whole story. You just need to give value or just interest.
Perfect example. Okay, so storyboard, then actually create the stories, right?
Yep.
Test around, play with the stickers and the wording on at least one of those clips. Sometimes people just upload a picture. To me, that's a little bit boring, but if you're just getting started, anything just to take the action and get started. We can always get better over time. I'm speaking to myself here as well. And then I think what the third one would be, maybe, Sue, correct me if I'm wrong, is see who's watched and direct message back to 1 or 2 people to start getting a flow going.
Yeah, but only direct message back if it makes sense. Like if you asked a question and you want to know what their takeaway was, not thanks for watching my story. If you just did a story, it has to have context for sure.
Okay, well, what about when they're just starting, if one of their friends watches, direct message back, just to get the feel for how to do it?
Yeah, you can say, what did you think of that? Did it give value? Did you like it? Do you want to see more of that? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the message is different if it's a friend versus a business. You're not going to do that necessarily. It depends where it's appropriate, I guess I'd say.
Yeah.
Real quick direction on direct messaging. How do you do that?
Oh my gosh, so direct messaging is everything. I always say go down in the DM. That's where all the action is, baby.
You and Gary Vee say the same thing, right?
Oh my God, I didn't know that he said that.
He says the same thing, yeah.
I have not been listening to him lately because I think he gives way too many call to actions in his stories now. So yeah, because the DMs is where the real gold is, because it's a one-to-one conversation now instead of one to millions. When someone replies to a story, they basically gave you permission to respond back. And so now it's your move. How are you going to respond back? Don't start selling them something. It's finding out more about them.
Okay, and then on the phone, where is the icon to get to the direct messages to be able to send a message?
Oh, it's the same. Your notifications light up on your phone and it's at the top right. Same notification place.
All right, Gift Biz listeners, just pull out your phone. Get into Instagram. All the stories are up on the top. Look at some stories. Follow Sue because you've got to see her level of creativity and I say overall entertainment. I mean, they are just fun to watch, but it's a great learning environment at the same time. You're going to learn more about Instagram. You're going to learn how to do Instagram stories and what all the different tools can be, and just follow by example with her. And then play around with the buttons because there is a lot available, but once you start knowing this little place does this, if I touch here it does this, it's not really that bad. It's not hard to figure out. Just experiment. You're not going to really do anything wrong.
Right.
Okay, before we wind up, Sue, tell us what you have coming up. Do a little self promo here.
Before I go into that, let me just direct your listeners to a couple places where they can get free content. Obviously, on my blog, we've got a great blog, SueBZimmerman.com, and articles about all and everything you need to know about Instagram. We also have a YouTube channel, so go ahead and subscribe because when you do, you'll get a notification every time I post, which is typically weekly. And then I want to invite you to my free, and Sue knows about this because she's in it, Facebook group called Instagram Results for Business, where I have over 6,100 awesome entrepreneurs in that group. So those are all the free places to go. We have downloads for hashtags. If you have a hashtag headache, SueBZimmerman.com/HH. More important and specific to this is our Instagram stories. So SueBZimmerman.com/stories with an S class. That's what I mentioned earlier, Sue, which I think your listeners will really appreciate because it's under $20. That really gets them going. And then, Sue, I'm going to send you a link for all your listeners to get our free 20-page guide that I want to create a custom link for you, which I haven't done that yet.
Oh, thank you very much. Gifts here for us, everybody. Fabulous. We all know now why you're the Instagram expert, Subi. If there are people here who are just listening for the first time and didn't know you, it is very clear. You've given us such great information. I really hope that we've convinced you. I know, like I said before, I need to get better at doing this and I'm going to integrate it into my days, but there's a good reason to do Instagram stories. It's not as populated a platform yet, and the ability to get visibility in a creative way that's not salesy, because I know we're all sensitive to that.
Exactly. There was one more thing I wanted to do, Sue, for your listeners that's fun, but after you finish what you're saying.
I was just going to say this makes so much sense. So really don't just get off of this podcast and put it aside and say, yeah, that was fun information. Pick up your phone, pull up the Instagram account, follow Sue. And I'm not saying that to continue to get, everyone over to you, Sue. I don't want it to sound that way to you guys, but I want you to do it just by way of example because it's the best way to see how to do it well. And so what else were you going to say before we close out?
You know me, I like for people to take action. So for those of you listening to this podcast and you love it, obviously, if you're working out, get off the treadmill or wait till after your workout. If you're driving, don't pull over. Sue and I want to see a selfie or a deskie or something from you, knowing that you listen to this. And the way that I like to give people this challenge, Sue, is to have them @mention you, Gift Biz Gal, that is your business Instagram account, and @mention me, the Instagram expert, when you post on Instagram, like a takeaway, something visual that you can share with a takeaway, and use the hashtag Sue B made me do it, because that hashtag, Sue, has over 1,000 people that took the hashtag Sue B made me do it challenge. And here's the thing that everyone needs to know. When you use that hashtag on Instagram and do this, you'll be able to click into it and see everyone else who took the challenge. And there just might be your ideal customer or client right in that hashtag hub waiting for you.
That hashtag hub is so fun. I remember the photo that I've put in. I might have put a couple of things in there, I'm not sure. But the first one, because you challenge people to do such fun things. So just even looking through that is a riot. It puts a smile on my face.
Yeah, I think when people listen to podcasts, if you want people to take action, you got to tell them. I mean, otherwise they're just going to consume the content and go on their merry day. I want to see you guys, everyone listening. I want to see you. I want to connect with you. That's how we all grow our businesses.
Yes, absolutely. Sue, thank you so much. When you talk about shining the light on others and the light shines on you, that is absolutely what you stand for each and every day. I really appreciate your coming on. Wealth of knowledge, no surprise. You deliver.
Thank you.
And I know I'm going to be seeing you, but I have to say it on behalf of all of us. Thank you for your time, sharing everything, and may your candle always burn bright.
Thanks, honey. I'll see you soon.
Okay, sounds good.
Where are you in your business building journey? Whether you're just starting out or already running a business and you want to know you're set up for success, find out by taking the Gift Biz quiz. Access the quiz from your computer at bit.ly/giftbizquiz or from your phone by texting Gift Biz Quiz to 44222. Thanks for listening, and be sure to join us for the next episode.
Today's show is sponsored by the Ribbon Print Company. Looking for a new income source for your gift business? Customization is more popular now than ever. Brand your products with your logo, or print a Happy Birthday Jessica ribbon to add to a gift right at checkout. It's all done right in your shop or craft studio in seconds. Check out theribbonprintcompany.com for more information.
After you listen to the show, if you like what you're hearing, make sure to jump over and subscribe to the show on iTunes. That way you'll automatically get the newest episodes when they go live. And thank you to those who have already left a rating and review. By subscribing, rating, and reviewing, you help to increase the visibility of Gift Biz Unwrapped. It's a great way to pay it forward to help others with their entrepreneurial journey as well.